All right, let's talk about the easiest way to sell life insurance in 2024. As you can see, I'm dual wielding markers right here. I'm about to break this down for you guys on the whiteboard. So let's really break down why somebody buys life insurance. And really, ultimately, this whole video is just going to come down to one word, which branches out into three words, and that will all make sense in just a second. I'm going to start here with this black marker because it is calling my name. So again, it all starts with one word, which is why, right? So what a lot of people do is they get some fancy script that has all these things about this is what this life insurance policy is going to do, and it has all these living benefits and blah, 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 blah. And they call someone up and they're like, hey, Miss Jones, I'm going to just run through and give you a quote and get you this and get you that, and I can get you signed up, and what's your social and blah, 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 blah. That stuff, it sucks. You might even write business using scripts like that, but you're not going to keep business, right? The people that use those scripts successfully, most people use it unsuccessfully, but the people that use those scripts successfully are the type who write, $40K in a month, but 10 of it sticks, right? Like that's what those scripts result in. So what I'm about to show you guys, working with the why, is how you write a ton of business that actually sticks and ultimately make money. And this is really, like when you break it down, it is the easiest, most effective way to sell life insurance in 2024, 2025, 2045. Like this is timeless. So let's break it down. So we're going to start with why, right? AKA the reason that somebody buys life insurance. So this is the reason they buy, right? The why is the reason they buy. That sounds really simple, right? Almost like stupid, but it's true. So the why is the reason they buy, right? So your job when you jump on the phone is to find out this. Your job is to find out their why. And basically, the why is composed of three different pieces, right? So you have who, right? This is the beneficiary, right? So the who is the beneficiary. Who are you protecting, right? Who is this for? When you're going to sleep and you're laying your head on that pillow and you're like, gosh, if something happened to me, this person would be screwed. Who is that person? That's what we need to figure out. So who, right? Then we need to figure out what. Okay? What? So this is like when they're laying their head on that pillow and they're trying to get some shut-eye and all of a sudden their heart starts racing and their blood pressure gets real high and their neck kind of gets tight and they're like, oh my God, they're getting feverish. What is that like nightmare scenario that's going through their head? Like, gosh, if little Billy had to do that, or if that happened to little Billy, I would turn over in my grave, right? That is what. So what is basically what they're protecting who from, right? So this is like the nightmare scenario. Like this is the kids getting stuck with the burial bill, right? Or the kids getting stuck with the house payment, or the debt just raining down on their kids because they didn't pay it off before they died. This is what they're protecting them from. And generally, it's going to be like a funeral or debt, right? Funeral or debt. And then the last one is how, right? So what is like the nightmare? This is like sad face, nightmare scenario. And then how is like, how does the life insurance actually protect them, right? And this is like playing out the scenario of what happens when things go right. This is when things go wrong. How is when things go right? So how does it actually protect them? So this is like the dream scenario, right? Dream scenario, boom. So sad, happy face, who, what, how, boom. So let's kind of run through this. We got why, which is basically comprised of all of this here. It's who, what, and how. And this is basically what we have to figure out when we jump on the phone. So let's look at an example. Miss Jones, for example, her who is her son Billy. What is, the $15,000 funeral in Texas? And then how is if she gets the life insurance, it's going to make sure that Billy gets a check and then Billy's able to pay for that funeral instead of having to take out a loan. So that's who, what, and how. So how do we actually figure this out, right? How do we figure out what the why is? How do we, all this, right? Well, the answer is a lot simpler than you might think. And the answer is you literally just ask, right? So instead of jumping on the phone and talking, you jump on the phone and listen, right? So I'm gonna jump on the phone. Hey, Ms. Jones, this is Tim. I was just getting back to you about that form that you filled out. You said that your beneficiary would be Billy. Is that, who's Billy? Oh, that's my son. Got it, awesome. So Billy's your son. I'm guessing, that's kind of the person you're looking to protect. What were you looking to cover with this life insurance? What were you looking to protect Billy from? Oh, well, just final expenses. Well, tell me a little bit more. Like, when you say final expenses, what specifically do you mean? Like a funeral, or what are we talking? Oh, well, we're talking about, funeral, a burial, a casket, all that. Okay, got it. So funeral, you said burial, so you need a casket. Are you looking for like the full service, or what does this thing kind of look like for you? You want flowers, a procession, you want elephants at your funeral? I don't know, just make some stupid joke. What are you protecting them from, right? So figuring out what that need is. And then we want to paint the nightmare scenario. So got it. So, in the event that you weren't able to get something or you passed away without coverage, how would Billy, go about paying for that funeral? Oh, well, he'd probably have to take out a loan and, blah, 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 blah. Oh, I got it. And what, does he have kids? Does he have a family of his own? Yeah, he's got 2 kids. I got a couple grandkids. Oh, that's awesome. Blah, 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 grandkids, whatever. Right? So you're kind of diving into this. You're basically figuring out what their situation is, and you're just asking questions and you're listening. And what you'll find is not only do you get all of this ammo, all of this information that you can use to help close the deal and actually help the person you're talking to, but you're also being a consultant, because if you go to the doctor, they're going to ask you a bunch of questions and figure out what is your problem, what is your prescription. They're going to want to know all of the context before giving you a diagnosis. And when you ask and get all this context, they trust you more. The more information they give you, the more that they trust you. And so not only do you have all of this information that you can use to close the deal, but now you're building trust, and you're basically painting yourself as the expert because they're giving you all this information. And then so when you present them the solution, hey, Ms. Jones, perfect, I've got all this figured out for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint, create a plan for you, and I'm going to give you 3 different options. And these options are going to be based off of what you told me, with you trying to cover and make sure Billy doesn't have to pay for this funeral in Texas. And, that way Billy's able to get a check and, pay off that funeral and not have to worry about anything. So the first option is going to be $10,000 for blank. The second option is going to be $15,000 for blank. The third option is going to be $20,000 for blank. And so when you're doing that, those options mean so much more because they're all tied back to this, which is ultimately tied back to the why, which will ultimately, and I'm finally going to switch to this red marker, get them to buy. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the easiest, most effective way to sell life insurance in 2024, in 2023, in 2025, all of the years. This is the way to do it, and implement this, and you will see your sales skyrocket for sure. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like. And if you want to learn more about working for our agency and getting sales training like this every single day of the week, click the link down below and see what it would be like, and hit that link so you can apply to work with us. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.